Welcome to another episode of the Car Girl Show with Janice and Jesse. We're bringing you news that you can use, and today we're going to be talking about hiring and staff. It's kind of that time of year, I feel like.
Oh my goodness,
some reason
car
everyone's
dealerships,
hiring.
it never ends, okay? You know, it's a turnstile. We're always hiring people. I'd love it if everyone stayed at the dealership for a long time and absorbed the training,
doesn't.
but they don't.
They don't.
Sometimes it's a transient job. We have people come, and hopefully we're promoting people, and that's something that we're going to talk about.
We'll talk about
when
like
hiring.
what should you be looking for? Maybe that you're not. You know, some tips on hiring, what to say, you know, during interviews and what not to say. Things like that. But Janice and I were kind of joking about.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of fun talking about.
I mean, we've been to so many dealerships, and
Yeah.
it seems like there's always kind of the token person.
Yeah, the old guy.
There's always the old guy.
There's never an old woman.
He's retired. He
he's
likes to
there.
read the newspaper.
He's there. Did I tell you about the guy in the city I went in, 82 years old, no word of a lie, 82, still taking ups. I said, what happened to your repeat and referral customer?
Didn't you tell me?
82 years old, he's still standing on the point taking
But
customers.
that guy, did you tell me the guy had a customer, he went to go get him a coffee, he didn't come back because he forgot they were in the showroom?
Yeah.
And then they were looking at him like, is he coming back?
True
Where does
story.
he keep going?
Yeah, we had to remind him. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's...
Stanley, your customers are still here. No, it's not time to go home.
Yeah, so, I mean, how do we get away with it? If we want better, if we want more, you know, we got to start looking in different directions and attracting different types of people, different industries,
So
and
let's
in
get
different
into it.
ways.
So we had
in
a couple
different
of
ways.
tips for you car dealers about hiring staff this spring. We know you need people. What can you do? So
What can you do?
tip number one,
Tip number one is, I mean,
look
I'm obviously-
internally. We talked about this.
We talked about looking internally and not to, you know, disregard the women or the young guy or whoever. Like, anyone is fair game. And if they're hungry or if you see a spark of something in them, it can be developed. I mean, I started as a receptionist, right? And I was in school and never, ever did it cross my mind that
sell cars.
car sales was something that I could actually do.
Yeah.
Right? I just was like, I don't know enough about cars. I'm not salesy. You know, all of these things of I'm not. But I actually remember the owner of that dealership when I was interviewing for a receptionist position. He had this little toy car on his desk, and he was just kind of eyeing me and goes, you know what? I see something in you. He goes, sell me this car. And he like pushes over
the
this
old
toy
sell
car.
me the car, sell me the
Sell
pen.
me this.
And not everybody works great under pressure, but so look internally. Let's look at your receptionists. Let's look at, and I think dealers could start younger. Let's put it on somebody's radar. What's wrong with a salesperson who's young? People, you know, they have a stamina, longevity. I mean, there's lots of stuff going for them, but
Less obligations.
you know, let's look at. I mean, could we look at your high school? Could we start like a junior sales consultants program? I just think we should start earlier, like an apprentice technician. Let's have.
Sure.
Could we have an apprentice salesperson? I
yeah.
think we could put it on people's radar. Like you said, I think a lot of young people, it's not even on their radar. It doesn't even occur to them that retail automotive sales
It's something that
they could do.
They could do, yeah.
So start early, look internally.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the second point, we were talking about social.
Use social.
right? And
You're going to hear that from us a lot.
using social
Jesse.
media, using
Yeah.
your networks, your employees' networks, to kind of to introduce the idea that
we're hiring.
that you're hiring for men and for women, and they don't necessarily have to have a sales background, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think
Yep.
number one thing is someone who's in customer service, someone who's good with people.
Yes.
Sales can be
Yep.
developed. We
That-
have a ton of sales trainers.
That reminds me, I remember, I think servers make excellent salespeople. I remember a great sales girl who came up from, she was a server at one of the pubs
Right.
that the staff used to visit, and they talked her into coming to sell cars, and she worked out amazing.
Right.
Amazing. But speaking of social, Jesse, we were talking about the dealership putting on an event, a hiring event, maybe
Right.
pooling some resources with service and sales, getting along. There's a new concept. So let's pool our
Pull them together.
resources and have a night, an information night,
Right.
about working in automotive retail,
Right.
and inviting
how to be successful in the automotive industry and what it takes, right? Tell them what it's going to take. I mean, it's not by no means, hey, come on and we're going to, everyone's going to be earning $100,000 plus, you definitely can.
Yeah, certainly possible.
Certainly it's possible, but there's work to be done to get there. So you want to be upfront and say, listen, these are the steps we're going to provide you this, but you want to make sure you're upfront and that you're providing all that information so that you
big
aren't
picture
having
here
people
about having an event maybe you promote on social about working in automotive
Yeah.
retail. We've seen this tactic put out by vendors. We'll do it for dealerships. I certainly do it for a dealership all day long.
I'm doing it next week.
Yes,
for
I
a
know you're doing
dealership.
one.
We're
I'd be
doing-
happy to partner with you.
Yeah.
But it's something a dealership can easily do on their own. Put it on an event, invite people into your
Right.
showroom, invite people into your store to see what
Yeah.
you do.
Absolutely.
And be upfront. I love what you said about being
Yeah.
upfront about wages and expectations. So I think we
Oh,
set the
big time.
expectation up.
Yeah, and we
Right?
were talking about that, and that's something I'm going to be talking about on Thursday when I do this event with this in partnership with a dealership, talking about social media, talking about sales, and what it takes to actually be a high performing, high producing salesperson in a car dealership. So the other thing we talked about is getting people to do the things
You want them
up
to do.
front that
and
you
what
want them to,
expect
do
to do.
as a qualification, right?
Yep.
So if you're going to expect your staff
phone,
to
making video.
be getting on the phone and be shooting video and promoting the dealership, then these are the things you need to tell them up front, and not just tell them, but let them show you, right?
Let's
So
have a role play. That's something that I do when hiring BDC
there
staff.
should be way more role playing in the initial, and I know you say some people are not good under pressure and whatnot, but it'll give you some sort of idea.
Can they
One,
think on their feet?
are they willing to do it too? Can they think on their feet? Things can be developed after that, but the initial spark,
Sure, and this will
You need
eliminate
to
the
know.
Breakfast Club syndrome. If anybody doesn't know what the Breakfast Club syndrome is, we named that after the guy who started. He came on board. It was at a Chrysler store to sell cars, and 10 o'clock came. He said, I'm going out for breakfast, and he never returned. So we call that the Breakfast Club. You know what? Turnover is hard on the dealership. It's hard on resources. It's hard on customers. You just buy a car off somebody, and now
and
they're
now
gone.
they're gone.
So,
Yeah.
let's hire better.
During the interview, you got to be qualifying by doing some role playing, and maybe even before they get to the interview, ask them for the video submission.
And I like
just
the
to see
idea
if they'll
of
do it.
volume. I like people to choose from.
Yeah.
So I love the events and getting a group of people. I like looking internally for talent that may already be there. And something else, which I think this is another show entirely, but dealers, I think we really need to start looking at different options where we offer more flexibility in the workplace, especially for women.
Yeah.
Where we're not giving them a hard time. They have to take their kid to the doctor. And that can go for a father or a mother. But flexibility, job sharing, maybe some work from home options. When
I
I,
don't
look
know.
at
We
you're
kinda-
going
we
to roll your
disagree,
eyes,
'cause
just
we
like a car
disagree on
dealer.
this.
Just like a car dealer. But I think you can. Okay, if you have a good CRM, what's wrong with logging in on a Wednesday morning and I get to work from home Wednesday morning?
Because
And
they're
I'm
on
emailing
commission.
customers.
They're on commission, and they got to be at the dealership physically to take ups and not lose opportunity. Not even just the ups. That a customer might be coming in, for a service appointment, and there's opportunities there that if you're not physically
So that's
there,
time I can be at home and I can laser focus on prospecting, on creating appointments that I'm going to come in and
Okay, so you
handle
do that on
later
your time off. That's what the hustle is. That's what it's whoever wants to really excel and you're hungry, you're going to do that on your time
Well,
off.
you know
We're
what,
here on a
Jesse and I
Sunday.
we'll agree to disagree on that because I think the new workers, the Generation Z, they're going to demand something different, and I think we're going to see some changes in the workplace. And I think the dealer who is wide open to new ideas about that will be the one ahead of the curve.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know. What do you
Team
think
Janice
about
or
hiring?
Team Jesse?
But dealers, what are sales managers? What are some of your challenges? Service managers as well. What are some of your challenges? Hiring staff, keeping staff, interviewing. Where can we help you go on this? Because we know that it's a challenge to keep the dealership staffed. We understand.
Yeah, absolutely. So that concludes our episode today. Show
Yeah,
some love in the
thanks.
comments. Let us know your feedback.
Like us.
And we'll catch you on the next episode
Yay.
of the Car Girl Show with
Yay.
Janice and Jesse.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys. That's it. It's a wrap.